Hello, and welcome back to Mellohi, a Dream Recipe podcast. This is episode 21, and today we'll be doing our best to answer trivia questions on the Dream SMP lore. As always, we refer to the characters by name and specify when we're talking about the writers, and we try to focus more on analysis. Alright, so we're doing something a bit different from this episode, which you might have known if you listened to the 20th one.
Yeah! I'm gonna make everyone look stupid! That's my goal here.
Stupid, it's fine.
We're gonna be doing trivia questions.
Yes.
Sweet has a list, and we'll all be doing our best to answer them. Actually, are we gonna do this make this a competition? Like, are you gonna keep track of who gets the answers?
I
right?
can keep
Who
track
gets
of.
the right answer.
Yeah,
first?
I can keep track of points if we want to make it a competition, and then I figure,
I mean, that would be fun.
as we're kind of going through them, some of them I feel like there's information in there that we could talk about a little bit, so it might lead to a little bit of discussion as we go through.
All right,
Yeah.
sounds good.
I gotta get my research up in the background. Don't worry about it. All right. Oh wait, hold on. Let me make some columns for everyone's points. I figure the way we'll do this, since there's 3 of you, we can each have a buzzer noise. You can choose what your buzzer noise is.
Bark, bark.
No, I'm not gonna be good at that, but hey, it's all good.
That's alright. I just need to know who's saying what when they talk. Sai, what is your buzzer noise going to be? Okay. Alright. Sabu, what do you want your buzzer noise to be?
Wait, what was size? It like completely cut out. It was just silence. I was like,
It's like
wait.
a tongue click noise. It's like a tongue click.
'Cause I was gonna be like, oh, I can like snap my fingers, but I just was like, I don't know what the noise was.
Just loudly go. Burr.
I don't know. This is one of my decisions. I guess I'll just like I could just snap my fingers, but it's gonna sound like sigh. You know what? Just if nobody else gets it, I will then come in to try to answer it. I don't know if like I'm gonna be like, you know, like I'm not gonna know jack shit right now, so it's gonna be like me just coming in like with the wildest answer at the end. I'll just start saying like I can answer it as like a buzzer sound. I don't know.
Okay. That's fine. All right. I've got my little box showing me who's talking up in the corner. There we go. I got my list of questions. There it is. We're looking good. All right, and it'll let me scroll as I do it. This is perfect. Okay, who's ready to be publicly embarrassed?
Oh, me every day.
Awoo.
Alright, let's get this started.
All right. So the first question should be easy, and I expect all of you to be able to get this one. And if not, I'll be very sad.
This is
But we're starting back at the very beginning of the SMP. Who are the original 8 members of the Dream SMP? I want you to name at least 4.
Oh, at least 4. Okay, I mean that's like that's easy.
I got it.
Dream, Tommy, Sapnap, Sam.
Almost.
It's
Almost.
Dream. Wait, let me just count this in my fingers.
Dream
So,
George.
Dream
Sorry,
George.
George.
Sapnap.
Did I say
Bad Boy
Tommy?
Yellow,
Sam,
Punk,
Alyssa.
Awesome Dude, Alyssa.
Oh,
and
Alyssa, yeah.
That's 7. He's the 6th. Who's the 6th? Skeppy didn't join until after the Lemon Bark War, so.
Yeah.
I mean, we
You're
said
missing-
Dream, right? You're like
Pun.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
Pun.
You're missing
Callahan.
one. Callahan.
yeah.
Callahan.
Yay. All right. Well, Sai gets it for being the first one to name all of them.
I
Hell
said Tommy
yeah.
by accident, I'm sorry, okay? I was thinking George!
Said Tommy, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh no.
I was
You
like,
didn't
wait,
say
Tommy was
Tommy.
the original. I was like, actually, like, wait, hold on. What?
My head was going George, and my mouth went Tommy.
You know, Tommy is ever present in the Dream SMP, even when he wasn't there. So, you know, I'll
The Tommy
points for
SMP.
effort at least.
I'm
All right.
crying. I'm so sorry. I am embarrassed.
Okay. This one is actually more difficult. And we'll see who you all say, because I'm curious what your thoughts are. Who burnt down Punk's original first giant lemon tree?
Oh.
George.
Oh, Snowy, you're right. It was George.
I remember because Punks talked about how George was the start of everything.
That is true.
Everything's always George's fault.
Yeah.
That's the official policy. Yeah. No, George was the first, George burnt down the first giant lemon tree. Punk had smaller ones before that that also got destroyed. But the first giant lemon tree got burnt down by George for some reason. I actually don't know why. I thought I had it written down.
He's just a force of chaos.
Oh, apparently Punk griefed his underground base.
So
and then George burnt down his lemon tree in retaliation. Which, I mean, that sounds
about right
for the server.
Yeah.
Okay.
No griefing except if you're willing to accept griefing in retaliation.
Yeah, it's on the server, the official policy, at least on like the signs rules of the server, it says no griefing, no killing, no going to the end. But I know that like their unofficial
I think it was no stealing.
No stealing might have been one of them, but like their official policy on like the Discord or whatever is like, just don't do anything that will actually make people upset. Which, to be
I think I remember seeing that when Pund is like heading towards Kinoko Kingdom about to burn it down because Carl refused to get back his Blackstone.
Carl started spamming it in chat, being like, I wonder what this says. And Puns was like, I don't care. Give me my floor back. Oh, poor Puns. Alright, yes. I actually wasn't sure if anyone would know that one, but this is what we, it's good.
I just collect random information.
It's that Ponk lore, Ponk info. There's our obligatory Ponk mention, by the way.
Hey.
I think I have another question about him somewhere in this, but I don't know. Alright. This one is after Tommy joined, so we're finally into the Tommy has joined the server era, and that means everything's gonna start going downhill.
Yeah.
As always. Alright, okay.
I mean, I think things only really start going downhill after Wilbur joins.
That's true. Wilbur's the instigator of it all,
right there, George is right there.
Yeah.
That's also true.
Tommy just enhanced the chaos. Wilbur's the one who turned into actual wars.
Yeah, Wilbur went hard.
Before him, there were no war crimes, and then now everyone's a war criminal.
Alright, so this, I'm pretty sure, happens before any of the Landberg stuff. Someone can fact check me later if they want to, but for now I'm saying we're doing it now. So, everyone knows Tommy has two discs, but originally he actually had 3. What happened to the 3rd disc? And bonus points if you can name what disc it was.
Didn't Skeppy and Bab burn it?
Burnt it.
Yeah.
I think it was Chirp.
Yeah.
And also, I think that was actually after Lemannberg, because Skeppy only joined the server.
After the Lemannberg War.
It was right after.
You're right!
Lemannberg got independence.
Damn.
When Skeppy joined, and Dream gave the whole, table metaphor speech.
Nice. I'm getting immediately
And then
fact-checked.
Skeppy actually met Lemannberg and was like,
I take it all back.
You're right. I should have known that
destroyed
too
it
because of the
completely.
whole house and table speech. I don't know why I spaced that at some point in my life. All right.
And then, because he got into a fight with them, he brought one of the discs.
All right.
Yep.
Well, let's see. Both.
Alternate universe where instead of Dream being the
It's
villain,
Skeppy.
after the discs, it's Skeppy.
All right. Well, Snowy.
This confrontation just replaced Dream with Skeppy, and there's a Dream cage instead of a Skeppy cage.
Well, both you and Snowy were able to name the fact that it was Skeppy who did burn it. Do you guys know why he burnt it?
I think he got into some sort of dispute with Tommy and Tubbo.
I think that's
the same sort of conflict where the spirit scam happened.
Yeah, that's
I don't
probably
remember exactly
I don't know for sure,
I think
but
he was
considering
trashing them, he was trying to get them to give him something.
considering
maybe
their
it's
track
something.
record, that seems
from
very
him.
likely.
Yeah. Yeah. No. It's typical Tommy chaos. Apparently, he griefed Skeppy's house. And Skeppy was like, well, Yeah, I'm not standing for this and burnt it in retaliation, which,
That's fair.
again, par for the course on
Par
this
for the
SMP.
course. Yeah.
Alright. Since Sai and Snowy both knew it was Skeppy, I'll give each of you half a point, and then Sai will get a full point because you also could probably name the name of the disc. I cannot find what disc it was anywhere. No one wrote it
I'm
down.
pretty sure it was Church.
That sounds
It was a
right.
short and
100%
cool
sure.
name, but it was also like a normal name. That's what I remember of it
Yeah.
from Finding Joy's posts.
Yeah, you'd think someone would have put it down somewhere, but I guess since it got burnt, no one cares anymore. Which is funny because Skeppy just
DSMP
gets away
wiki
with
my
everything.
lobe.
Skeppy just gets away with everything.
He does.
Alright. Talking about other early SMP conflicts, which again, this also might have already happened after L'Manberg, but I'm got a wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey perception of things. Who was involved in the Socializing Club conflict?
I know that
This-
Fundy and Purple were involved.
Yes.
I don't know about
And
those.
probably Tommy as well. Maybe Tubbo, not entirely sure on that.
Yeah, alright, yeah, no, that counts. It was Purple, Fundy, and Tubbo, and then Tommy got involved briefly. And it was the whole thing, so I had to actually look this up myself, because, like, I knew that was a thing that happened, but I wasn't sure what happened, and apparently it was really just Fundy trying to scam people, and steal from Tubbo, and then steal from Purple, and he came up with this scheme where he was... where the official rules of the server are that you can't steal from people. So he took a shovel and named it Property of Fundy, and then would go around throwing it down in front of people. So when they picked it up and said, "Oh, this is yours," he could be like, "Oh, you stole from me," and have a moral justification for then murdering them. This was his whole strategy, and he did it to Tubbo, and Tubbo was just like, "Okay, whatever, I'm not happy about this, but fine." And then he tried to do it to
Nick
Purple,
Wallabies.
and Purple was like, yeah, no," and went out of his way to murder him. And then him and Tubbo teamed up, and then Tommy got involved because Tommy wanted Tubbo for something else. Disc things. It was always disc things. The Socializing Club conflict actually sounds very fun. It was
That's so smart, and that sounds like something the person who wanted to rig the election would do.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Fundy's whole thing is just scheming and weird plots on that server during the early
It's
periods.
finding loopholes
Yeah. He's
and exploiting
Swiper.
them.
He's Swiper, no swiping.
Alright, what do you have next?
Alright, next.
I need to keep pushing you guys.
It's fine. We've got plenty of time and plenty of questions. Alright, so, I'm gonna give each of you a chance to answer this one, and I'm gonna start with Sabu, because Sabu hasn't gotten to
God.
answer. Yeah.
Here we
So,
go.
I'm gonna give everyone has a chance to earn a point here, because it's, well, wait, no, I can't do it that way, can I? That's fine. It's fine. Sabu,
Yeah.
what members originally opposed the Camaravan drug empire?
You freaking.
Can you name at least 3?
Wait, the ones who opposed the drug caravan?
Yes, so not the people, not like Wilbur and Tommy, but the
'Cause, like,
people who were trying to stop
freaking
them.
Cop Sapnap is like, one.
Yes.
I'm gonna be.
If it helps, I'll tell you there's 5 people total that opposed it,
Okay, well,
but I
okay.
just need 3.
I'm gonna, okay, here's the thing. I'm going to just assume that, because Sapnap opposed it, then that means that, Dreamwood, I genuinely do not remember that freaking early on. I'm gonna be real, it's like, the more Dream SMP lore I get from the later on, the less I remember from the beginning. I got Rambu's level of memory here, I can't store things
Information,
like that.
copy, pasted, over.
I said 3. I don't know. I'm gonna assume, I don't know, just the original 3. Sapnap, Dream, and George. I mean, that was the whole thing. Eventually, is they were all opposed to it. They were like, this is fucking. I just know that Sapnap was a cop. That's it. That's basically all I know. I'm sure everybody else knows the answers.
Well, I wanted
Me
to
in
see
class,
what you answered. You're right about Cop Sapnap. He was
Yeah.
definitely the one heading the force. But the rest of the Dream Team actually didn't get involved. Dream wasn't there. He just wasn't there. I think he ran into the drug empire, like the drug van at some point later. Yeah, but he was like not there for this.
He was there
mess.
for the walls, basically. Like the moment the walls started getting built.
Yeah,
like, that's what I remember. Anything before
I think Sapnap showed him the drug van after the fact, like after they had their little conflict, and then before the walls happened. But he never got involved with it directly. And neither did George. George just wasn't there at all until the Declaration of Independence.
So even George, the OGs are just MIA from their server.
Just not there.
Yeah, I should have just assumed. Should have been like, like, me trying to give George more credit than he's actually like.
I mean, like, I guess the obvious answer to this is Sapnap and Tubbo, since they were the original people that Wilbur and Tommy tried to scam.
I'm guessing Puns, or Puns or Purpled or Fundy might have also, because I think they were also there at the time it happened.
I think Fundy and Puns, although that's just like a
guessing
based on good feeling.
You'd actually Snowy's got it right. Puns wasn't there. Fundy wasn't involved. It was Purple actually was involved. Purple and Ponk got involved because they were trying to they were angry with Tommy, because Tommy had stolen something from them and had gotten involved as such. But actually, in total, it was Eret, Purple, Sapnap, Tubbo, and Ponk.
Eret was going to be my other guess because I remember Wilbur changed his invitation to Lamanberg to Eret with something about how the drug ban isn't part of it at all.
Yeah.
So that would make sense if Eret was opposed.
Eret was originally opposed. Purple and Ponk got involved specifically because Tommy was involved and he had angered them because of course he had. Sapnap was involved, and Tubbo was involved because they were trying to take blaze rods from them.
It's like people are always like, oh, but like the police tried to stop them
from
selling drugs, and like, you know, there was no police force.
It was the community.
Was, like, two people, they tried to get scammed, getting mad at them, and then they accepted one to their group.
It was their to-be victims.
Not the other, because one was American.
I cannot overstate how unorganized it was, because it was literally, Tubbo was gonna give them blaze rods. Sapnap told him not to. Purple and Ponk got involved completely separate, like for completely separate reasons. I think it was like Tommy had stolen Ponk or Purple's armor or something from their houses. So they were completely uninvolved except for that. And then Eret, I don't remember why Eret got involved, but I think what you said was right about just the drug empire stuff. But ultimately it didn't matter because Tubbo and Eret betrays them. Betrays the cop side, I guess. It was so unorganized. I don't even want to call them cops because literally the entire experience was Sapnap hauling them off to jail with Tubbo, or with Purple, and then Eret and Tubbo helping them get out of it and run away, and then becoming traitors basically. By the end of it, Sapnap gave up. Tubbo and Eret sided with the drug van, and then Purple and Ponk were the only two left, and they were just like, what's the point anymore? Obviously, we're not gonna win this, because we just lost the entire force, so we're done. So I'll give that one to Snowy, because Snowy got purpled, which puts you up one. Alright, this one's gonna be fun, and I'm expecting you all to get it wrong, because I think you're gonna fub it. But we're on to the Lamanberg Revolution.
Oh shit.
We're on to the Lamanberg Revolution, and this is obviously one of the vital parts of this whole revolution and its war. Who signed the original, because there is two, Lamanberg Declaration of Independence?
Wilbur, Eret.
Did Fundy...
I don't think Fundy signed
Did Fundy not sign the first one?
What did you say, Snowy?
Because I feel that fits in.
Ooh, it's Snowy. You said Wilbur,
Eret. I don't think Fundy did it. Tommy?
I mean, they were like all in the van.
Wait. Yep.
So I don't know if someone else was missing.
Tubbo?
Snowy's got... Oh, yeah, okay, that was the last one, yeah. Yeah, so Fundy didn't sign it, surprisingly enough. I thought
the reason why. So the reason why I don't think Fundy signed it is because
this whole thing of being kind of like left out and not
yeah,
uniform and all that.
And the fact that Wilbur just shits on Fundy so much. God.
Wilbur, terrible father. Yeah, so Fundy didn't sign it. The original Declaration of Independence. After Aerith's betrayal, they rewrite and they make a new one that's called the Decree of Independence or something like that. And Fundy signs that one, but Aerith's off of it then. But the original Declaration of Independence that Tommy actually tries to burn and get rid of.
Because
Aerith,
Tommy,
signature Tubbo,
is on
and Wilbur
it.
were the only ones to sign it. I have another Declaration of Independence question. And this one, I'm going to have you finish the quote from the Declaration of Independence because I thought this was interesting. So, buzz for this one because I want to hear different answers. So, finish the quote. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of blank.
Victory.
Snowy.
Like, I had, like, a whole thing about this, like, 6 months or something ago, where not even 6 months, this was, like, it's, like, December stuff.
Yeah.
Where I was like, hey, isn't it interesting that they take it from American life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, but they replace happiness for victory, and how it shows that L'Manberg was never originally intended to be a place where people could be happy.
Yep.
It was intended for, like, Wilbur to, like...
To win.
Yeah. Yeah, no, all of those things. Because when I was looking for questions, I was rereading their little Declaration of Independence, and I made a tweet about it, how it's just nonsensical. Like, it's the most, like, this is a Minecraft country as it could be, which is very funny considering how seriously, like, L'Manberg gets taken now. But their original Declaration of Independence was absolute nonsense. It stated nothing, and it had... It like directly contradicts itself at one point.
I saw it recently, and it's just like, oh my god, you can't even read it. It's just like a bunch of
it doesn't make any sense. It's a bunch of like separate sentences that are put together as if they make and like say something, but they say nothing.
It's like a bunch of buzzwords stuck together.
Yeah. And I think the pursuit of victory thing is very interesting because normally the quote is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But for them, it's a pursuit of victory, which is very interesting considering that they're declaring that this is all going to be, like, about freedom and peace.
Right.
And this is before the declaration of war.
So this was before war had even been declared by the Greater Dream SMP on L'Manberg.
Yep, and they're already...
They're claiming that they want to achieve victory, but the war hasn't even started yet.
That tells you a lot right off the bat.
Yep.
Okay, so now let's get into the actual fighting part. Let's see. In the final control room, who took whose life? And I want you to buzz because this is a long answer. Snowy, what do you say?
Hans took Wilbur's life.
Okay, that's one.
Dream took Tommy's life while Tommy pearled away and died.
Yes.
Shit. Did Sapnap take Tubbo's life?
Yes.
God.
You're just missing Fundy.
I know. Fundy tried to hide
right?
with his invis pot, but he still had armor on, and someone noticed. Who else? Would that be George?
Yep. Yeah, everyone got one kill in that little endeavor, except Aerith, who I guess you could say took all the kills. And technically Dream, if you want to say, because Tommy didn't die by Dream, he died by ender pearling into the roof.
He died running from Dream.
He died by trying to get away from Dream.
Yeah.
Which will count just for, give our boy some cred. Good job, buddy. It's not his only murder in that war. Yeah, so Puns kills Wilbur, which is funny because Puns actually kills Wilbur, takes Wilbur's second life. So Puns is, by like definition, the Wilbur slaughterer.
See, this is why I remember that Puns killed Wilbur, because there's this meme going on where
by the logic of some people, that means that like Wilbur is therefore entitled to murder Puns.
Well,
some people would say that,
but
it's he feels like it.
The thing that I remember it from is that I think someone and Puns shake hands, having it up for that one person for absolutely zero reasons. I think it was Puns and Rambu having it up for Wilbur and Connor.
Does Rambu have it out for Connor? Why?
I don't know.
That's so rude. What did Connor do?
Nothing, but it's just like Techno and Tommy are like threatening to torture and waterboard Connor, and Rambu's like, yeah, I don't really know this guy.
Oh my god. Alright.
You can do it. That sounds funny, actually.
Okay, so Snowy's currently ahead, with you technically a 5.5. Sai is in second place with third, and Savu, you haven't answered any.
Sorry, they did trivia in class, and I would just like basically, even if I knew anything, I would just throw the whole thing. I just like hearing people's answers. I'm weird. I'm sorry.
Alright, next question.
Okay. There's another L'Manberg one. And we might skip one after this. How many times did Dream tell L'Manberg to surrender during the Revolutionary War?
3?
I'm guessing a lot of times.
Yeah, Snowy, you actually got it. It's 3 times.
What? That was a complete guess.
I could have just thrown
He
out a
tells
number.
them to
Damn.
stop 3 times.
I was like, how the fuck was I know that?
So he's got his White Flags at Dawn speech, which they do right after burning Tubbo's house down. Then they destroy Tommy's house / the embassy, technically, for L'Manberg, and tell them to surrender again. And then the final time is after the final control room, right before they set off the TNT in their yard. And then Wilbur agrees to surrender after that. Because, dear lord, man, how many times do you have to get your ass kicked before you realize you should actually just surrender? Alright. So that's a little L'Manberg Revolution.
I swear I didn't actually know.
It was a lucky guess then, at least. Yeah, no.
3 is my favorite luck number, so yay!
Good things come in 3s. In this case, it was telling Wilbur to pack up and go home. Alright. So after the L'Manberg, independence and stuff, we had a little bit of downtime, but we're gonna skip the downtime because there was nothing interesting happening. And we're just gonna skip right to the election arc.
Didn't they destroy Aerith's tower a bunch of times, and then Aerith just rebuilt it with obsidian?
Yeah, it's typical Dream SMP nonsense. So I looked through this stuff, but I was like, none of these are good questions. Or none of these I think anyone will know. So we're just gonna skip straight to the election arc. And I of course took this opportunity to make fun of Wilbur and Tommy as much as possible, because I don't like them sometimes. So our first question, just to out how bad of leaders they were, what was Wilbur and Tommy's original plan for the L'Manberg elections?
Regular election, right? Voting as the only party closing the application to be a party before anyone else could sign.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, wait, that question seemed too easy. I was like, they were just gonna
They were just gonna rig
I told you, I just wanted a chance to diss them both and point out how bad they are.
I was like, there has to be a catch to this question, but there wasn't.
No. That one's pretty simple. Yeah, so they planned to make the election. They planned to basically not announce the fact that there would be an election, so that they would be the only party running for president / vice president, and they could just win uncontested because no one else would be able to get into the election. I assume you all know who stopped them.
Quackity.
Yep. Exactly. Quackity caught on, and he told everybody and was like, I'm going to run for president. And thus, we get to our second question. Again, these are all probably pretty easy. What were the official parties of the election, and who in them was running for office?
Coconut 2020 with Fundy and Nikki. Swag 2020. I think it was Didn't Schlatt just join in as himself?
Yes, Schlatt was his own party.
Yeah, Schlatt 2020.
Sort of.
And Quackity's party was Swag 2020, I think.
Yep.
And Wilbur and Tubbo, Tommy were like Pog 2020, weren't they?
Yes, they were. Which is probably where they get Pogtopia from later on. Also, Sabu, I'm giving you a half point for answering the fact that Schlatt was only by himself.
People of gamers or something? Like, they were acronyms.
Yeah. They were
acronyms. I don't know what they were acronyms for. Something
of gamers.
Yeah.
I think like people, maybe?
Yeah, it was
Swag was also a gamer thing.
Yeah, they were both gamer things, except for Coconut 2020, which I genuinely do not know where they got that name from. And then Schlatt, who just ran as Schlatt 2020.
Schlatt 2020.
And he was running for president, and then Quackity was technically running as his vice president at the same time as Quackity was running for president, with George not found as his vice president.
George
didn't show up, so he was like, that, and then, he like...
Technically, after Swag 2020 and Schlatt 2020 merged in one, GNF became the Secretary of State, was his official title.
Never showed up.
No wonder things went so downhill.
Never showed up.
Yeah. Quackity kind of ran his own rigged election when you think about it. He was running for vice president and president of two different parties at the same time.
I mean, that was allowed. In fact, I think Wilbur even wanted to do it with him, agree to share the votes.
It was the agreed to share the votes thing.
Quackity refused and chose to do it with Schlatt instead.
Yeah. But the funny thing is that if Schlatt had won, like, on his own, Quackity still would have been vice president, and it wouldn't have been merged votes. He was on the bill as Schlatt's vice president. And it's just, okay. Alright.
Arguably, though, like, I think Swag 2020 actually got more votes than Schlatt, so...
Yeah.
Technically,
it wouldn't have happened, but yeah.
I mean, their deal was that if neither of them won...
They would combine.
Yeah. Quackity would give Schlatt his votes. I suppose you can see it as that.
Yeah, exactly. Which, that worked out relatively well, I guess. Quackity thinks better of it later, which brings me to my next question. How many traitors to Schlatt were there in Manburg?
Oh my fucking
Everyone.
God.
Let's see, there's one, there's
Speaking.
There's Fun, there's Nikki, there's Tubbo.
There's Tubbo
there's
being the
Quackity.
better spy.
I know, Nikki gets I don't know, that's complicated.
Quackity only becomes a traitor later on.
Yes, these are all at various times, but there are...
Punk, I think, is the only one who's, like, solidly loyal.
Yeah. There's 4 specific people that I labeled out for this just because they were the most, directly influential, I guess. There's Tubbo, who was a spy for Pogtopia. Fundy, who was keeping track of all of Schlatt's weaknesses and then gave that to Pogtopia. There was Nikki, who was basically the most outright traitor of them all. And then there was
she was also being targeted hard.
True.
Yeah. She got like
and
in prison, and then she got like
the
hunted.
fact that she was very obviously like a spy.
The interesting,
or, like at least against.
Quackity wasn't a.
So it's not like.
Yeah, Quackity wasn't a spy, but he
it's
was.
Not like he just randomly disliked her.
Yeah, he did not like. Schlatt did not like Nikki. Poor Nikki. Probably because she was the one who kept telling him that he was terrible the entire time. Which good for her. Let's go, Nikki. She deserves more credit for that. She was the only one in that entire country with the spine to stand up to Schlatt on repeat.
Publicly.
Quackity was actually kind of a traitor from the start, but not as much as the others because he helped
the White
Nikki.
House argument that he was like, oh, maybe not.
That was when he officially changed sides, but before that even, he was helping Nikki repeatedly get out of trouble.
Manburg is actually pretty interesting because he kind of like goes back and forth on stuff.
Yeah.
Like sometimes he'll be like completely all for whatever Schlatt wants to do, and sometimes he'll be completely against it, and he kind of goes between those two a lot.
Because, Quackity helps Nikki out a couple of times, because Nikki originally approaches him and asks if he will help her stand against Schlatt. He says he won't, but that he won't tell Schlatt what she says until she accidentally kills him on his way back to the White House.
Oops.
He spills everything, Nikki gets arrested and put in jail, and then he actually breaks the bars so she can escape.
Yeah, no, that's like one of the best
and hides the entire thing. So, like, Quackity was arguably, like, a traitor the entire time, but if we want to go, like, most traitorous to least traitorous. He'd probably be Nikki, and then Quackity's the least. But it was interesting to...
Yeah, I'd say it'd be like Nikki,
Tubbo, Fundy, Quackity.
Fundy, Quackity.
Yeah, most likely. Speaking of Tubbo, we're gonna do a little bit of time skip and head on over to the Manberg Festival. I guess I should assign a point for that last one, but I feel like all of you kind of got it, so I'll just give it to all of you. There we go. It's not like it's gonna tie anything up, haha. Snowy is solidly ahead by like 3 points. Alright, so next question. What was Tubbo's code phrase for his speech during the Manberg Festival that he was supposed to say?
Let the festival begin.
Indeed, it was. Yes, he was supposed to say it right at the end of his speech, and they even set it up so that he kind of was the one in charge of telling Wilbur if he was gonna blow up Manberg or not with that little line. Because Wilbur just can't take responsibility for himself, can he? Nope. Kept going back and forth. He's like, I'm just gonna make it Tubbo's fault. I'm gonna make Tubbo tell me. Alright, speaking of Wilbur and his terrorist bomber antics, this is a tough one, and I don't know if anyone's gonna be able to answer it, but whoever gives me the closest number will get the point. Roughly, how much TNT did Wilbur place under Manberg?
20 stacks?
I'd say about 3 stacks.
Sabu, what do you got?
It's... I don't know. I don't remember it being that many. I mean, you're talking about, like, the time, like, we first planted it, right? Like...
Yeah, so it's... He has a very
like
specific amount
stacks?
he says
I thought
for...
It was 11. I don't know.
Yes!
Oh, okay.
Actually, yes!
Yeah,
You're
sorry,
right!
I happen to know a lot more about
It's,
Wilbur and Quackity and than anybody else in the DSMP.
Yes. No, you're actually almost exactly right. He says he's put about 20 pieces directly under the podium where Schlatt's chair is, but then in total, he has about 11 and a half stacks of TNT underneath Manberg. So, yeah, there you go, you get a point. You get a point. I like it. Okay. Alright, we're gonna take a brief, let's see, because we're about to get into the angst that is the Manberg-Pogtopia War. So before that, for a lighthearted question, that's not really lore related and is fitting because it's the one day every single person was on the server and wasn't doing lore. Who won the Mr. Beast Taco Bell gift card hunt?
Wasn't it Eric?
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes, it was!
Woo.
Nice!
There we go! Like, you're catching up now.
I just have really niche knowledge that, like, for no reason. You could ask me anything important, I'd be like, I don't know. But I know that.
Hey everyone, Mellohi Spotlight here with a really cool animator to tell you about. In case you're new, the Spotlight section is where we shout out a content creator in the Minecraft YouTuber or DreamSMP fandoms to let you wonderful viewers discover new and amazing people to check out. We know that a big part of what makes our fandom so incredible is how many talented people we have creating amazing content in it. This week, our spotlight is an animator and artist, Rozu Gold. Rozu is a sketch-style animator and artist who has made a ton of animations on the DreamSMP and other fandoms on their YouTube channel. I think they've actually put out almost like one video a month at least, all pretty much animation or speed paints, which is kind of crazy to think about because you know that those things take time. Personally, since I'm a huge Dream stan, I like their revived but it's Dream animation because that's my boy, and her design for him is really, really cool, and he just seems absolutely unhinged in it, and it times really, really well with the music to create someone who I'm actually, I wouldn't say scared of, but who I really, really enjoy. But all of her animatics are really cool, and they feature a lot of characters like Tommy, Tubbo, and Wilbur, as well as their relationships with one another. So if you're a big fan of that whole, like, Tommy-Wilbur brother dynamic, or, like, Tommy and Tubbo friendship, then these are good ones to check out. While most of the animations are more sketches, there's a really clear movement to them, and Rozu does a really great job of lining them up with the music. You can check out Rozu at Rozu Gold, spelled R-O-Z-U, on YouTube or on her Tumblr page. Before we get back to the episode, if you have any content creators that you think deserve the spotlight, make sure to let us know by either dropping a comment below one of our YouTube videos or through our Twitter. The more amazing content creators you share with us, the more amazing content creators we can share with everyone else. Thanks for listening in, and I'll catch you next time. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Bye! Alright, we're gonna go back to the easy questions now, because we're just looking at Manberg Pogtopia War, and so this shouldn't be too hard. Who was the traitor to Pogtopia?
Wilbur.
Yes. And who was the sort of
I don't get why people say he's not the traitor when everybody asks who the traitor was, and he just puts his hand up, and he said, I thought I was the traitor, Dream, when Dream says there's no traitor.
And he was very specifically, like, you could argue that Technoblade was a traitor. Personally, I see it as...
He turned traitor afterwards, but, like, to be a traitor requires premeditated intent.
What Dream was referring to was Wilbur.
Yes.
So Wilbur was the official traitor, and then Wilbur also claims Technoblade as the traitor because that's what he tells Phil. And then before that, he's just like, yeah, no, I'm the traitor, which he flat out tells people several times. And everyone's like,
Wilbur
no, it's too obvious
he's the traitor. Like, Wilbur turns out to be the traitor. So everybody else, surprise Pikachu face.
Exactly. Alright. This one has a little bit of nuance to it, so we'll see what our answers are. On whose side of the war was the Badlands?
No one's. They were
on
the
winning side. They were on the winning side. Or wait, no,
they were the neutral party that was on the losing side because they wanted to cause more chaos to weaken both parties and then take over the server.
Yeah, and Bad had that conversation where he's like if we
Pogtopia, the Manberg, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Badlands' official stance was neutral, but they did fight in the battle, which is interesting to me because when the Pogtopians and everyone fighting on that side were going to gear up at Techno's place, they followed them to that vault and, like, knew where it was and watched them go down and come back out. And then I'm pretty sure a couple of them fought on Dream's side. And then once Dream was like, okay, we're done fighting because Schlatt's a coward and ran off, they sort of just hung around. And then during the part after everything, when Wilbur blows up Manberg and Techno and Dream are fighting, they help Dream and Techno, along with, like, the Dream Team SMP side of things, all fight the Manbergians and the Pogtopians. So their official stance was neutral, but they kind of, like, very specifically sided with, like, Dream's side of things, whether that was what they intended or not.
Yeah, I mean, they wanted the Dream SMP. They were like, we can get more power, and I was like, damn. So it makes sense.
Literally, Bad has an entire monologue about how they can help the side that's weaker, so that if one side is visibly losing, they can go help that side in the war, so that they can weaken both sides, so that they can take over the rest of the Dream SMP afterwards. Like,
hell yeah.
People think Bad is just this nice, fluffy dude. No, he's affably evil. He's like, they think he was just some nice guy before the egg. No, he was a nice guy, super evil mind, master evil mind before the egg. It wasn't just the egg, okay? He was always that way.
Yeah, Bad was always out for his
name is literally Bad. His name is literally Bad. Like, what did they expect?
Very true, very true. Alright. Again, most of these ones are fairly easy because I feel like everyone knows everything about the Manberg Pogtopia War, but maybe I'm wrong. Who all was offered the position of president of Manberg after Schlatt died?
Wilbur.
Tommy first, then he gave it to Wilbur, he gave it to Tobo.
Yes, they did. And it was very sad if you were watching Fundy, because Fundy was very upset.
I think Wilbur took charge, and then he said he'd give it to Tommy, and then Tommy turns around to give it back to Wilbur, and then Wilbur gives it to Tubbo.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. Which, is really sad because Wilbur went into that knowing he was gonna blow up the country, and he tried to give it to his little brother figure. And then he gave it to his little brother figure's best friend.
Congrats on being the president of a crater.
Which, like, why? That's so, like, petty. Like, what did Tommy do to him? Tommy has done nothing but try and help him, and immediately his first instinct is, yes, I'm going to give him control of his home, and then I'm gonna take all of it away. And I'm gonna laugh while I do it.
He's a bastard!
Yeah, that's true. Alright, hi, Zoe. You doing okay? You're not doing okay. Alright. Answer this question while I fix my dog. What was the reason, officially, that Dream dethroned Eret and established George as the king?
Because,
was
Eret
it
wanted
neutral?
to side with Pogtopia while the king was meant to be neutral.
Yeah. That's the reason I know.
Basically said to Eret, look, if you want to fight in the war, yeah, you can do that.
But you can't be king.
You can't fight and be king. You gotta choose one or the other, and Eret made their choice.
And it wasn't even that he just didn't remain neutral, like, and got involved. It was he specifically got involved on Pogtopia's side of things.
Pogtopia, yeah.
Yeah. Which is, like, even worse when you consider...
Especially since, like, the majority of the Dream SMP citizens were neutral or on Manberg's side.
As mercenaries, nonetheless.
As mercenaries.
They were hired. That's the interesting thing about something I came across while I was, like, looking up questions for this that I thought was really interesting about how the kingship title of the Dream SMP is considered is that the thing that gives it's a what is it called when it's like a title
figurehead?
That doesn't mean anything? Yeah, figurehead title. I don't know, something like that. It's not a title that means anything. The only power that the king has is based off the power of the people that serve them.
Yep.
So for Eret, his only power was based off of Dream and Puns and Sapnap and George and, like, H-Bomb eventually. And, like, Puffy and everyone
really
else.
Interesting because a lot of it actually mirrors how, like, real life feudal monarchies worked, where the power of a monarch is directly tied to what actual power they have rather than being some sort of legality like a lot of modern monarchies are. Specifically, it was often tied to things like land
and wealth,
or control of trade, or resources, or control of an army or fighting force.
Yeah.
And that would be where a monarch would have their power from and use that to control other lords in the area.
Yeah. It's very interesting the way that it works, because it is a largely a figurehead position, and it's very interesting because that figurehead position, because it's just like an honorary title, it doesn't mean anything. Everyone
can't force anyone to do anything if they don't want to do it.
But also, the interesting thing with, like, the way people look at it...
The king only has power as long as the people...
Give it to them.
...that support them as king continue to support them, because that's where they have their power.
And but that's the funny thing about it, too, is because it is based off of, like, the power of the people around them, but almost everyone considers it particularly based off of Dream.
When talking about the dethronement, that there was nobody from, like, the greater Dream SMP that was, like, directly fighting on Pogtopia's side. Eret would be the only one.
Yeah.
Well, there were plenty of people part of the greater Dream SMP that were fighting on Manberg's side.
Yes.
So if Eret had remained king but fought with Pogtopia, that would mean that they were acting against the interests of the people, which honestly would have made them a traitor to their own, like, nation.
Yeah, and they got dethroned for it. Which comes up even more interesting later when we get to George's dethronement, because the official reason for that is something very similar. Okay, but next question. We're past L'Manberg being destroyed now. Wilbur did his thing. Techno and Dream did the rest. So we're gonna go into our sort of rebuilding period. These should be the last couple questions. What is the official cabinet of New L'Manberg? Bonus points if you can tell me what positions everyone's in.
Quackity is...
well, Tobo's president.
Tobo's president.
Tommy's vice. I think Quackity is still Secretary of State.
Fundy's treasurer.
And I think Fundy is treasurer.
Tommy was vice president.
And then later, Rambo was Minutesman.
Rambo became Minutesman. Tommy got kicked out of vice president, and Quackity became vice president.
Okay, you guys got all of those right except for Fundy. So I'm gonna give Fundy, and then there's one other person. There's two other people technically in the cabinet that you didn't name. Sabu, I'm gonna give you a chance to name the people who are also in the cabinet that they didn't name. So they got Tubbo, Tommy, Rambo, and Quackity right. There are three other people in it.
Don't know that much about New Lemamberg.
Just throw out names and we'll see if you get them right.
The only other person who was kind of involved, but not really, was Nikki, but I don't think she was part of the cabinet. She just happened to still have her bakery somewhere nearby.
Nikki actually was in the cabinet.
Oh, she was?
Just
okay.
She was officially labeled as on leave, however, because she was never she wasn't on the SMP at the time. She was busy doing real life things. So she had a position, but she was never actually there for anything. And then there's one other member of the New Lemamberg cabinet that feels like a really odd addition.
Jack Manifold?
No. So that's officially, Tubbo was president, Tommy was vice president, and Quackity was Secretary of State until Tommy was exiled, and then Quackity became vice president.
Yeah.
Fundy was the foreman, and then he became Secretary of State after that. Rambo was the Minutesman. Nikki was the Secretary of Treasury. And then the oddball one is the creative head / director, Carl Jacobs.
Yo.
What?
Yes. Carl was officially a part of the cabinet of New Lemamberg.
Nice.
I don't know if he
Carl
did anything
lore.
with
He
that
was
title.
part of Manberg.
I feel like I remember him being around and doing things. With Lemamberg at that time, but it feels like such an oddball addition.
It feels odd because he was part of... Okay, this is so weird. Carl and Quackity are both part of Lemamberg's cabinet, and then they also just go and decide to make a new country together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yes. Was Carl actually technically a part of El Rapids? I don't remember Carl being involved, but he was there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was part of Mexico.
He was a part of El Rapids. Because they sacrificed his life for their terrorism plot.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
True.
Alright, so how many questions do we have left? Because we might want to make a part 2 of this.
We don't have that many, so I'm just gonna cut it down to 2 questions, or 3 questions, and then we'll be finished. Just for the funsies.
Alright, let's do a script then.
Alright. I'm gonna give that point to, I'm trying to remember who said the most. I feel like, I'm just gonna split it between you two. There we go. Okay. I make the point rules here. Alright, so speaking of Mexican Lemamberg, who originally came up with the idea for what would become Mexican Lemamberg? Or El Rapids?
Quackity, Sapnap, Carl, George.
One person or
there's specifically one person who comes up with the idea.
Quackity feels like it's too obvious.
For an answer, so I want to say Sapnap.
George.
George it is.
Woo!
Yeah, George, it's really weird because George is king at this time, and he goes to Lemamberg with Sapnap, Quackity, and the others, and he literally says, look at this garbage town, I'm gonna show them what a real town looks like, and decides to build a resort thing as a hill over behind them, and then that becomes Mexican Lemamberg. Which is a weird thing that happens. Alright, okay. So I got 2 more questions. We'll finish off with the fan question. So before that, who did Tommy try and blame for the destruction of George's house?
It wasn't Rambo because he covered for Rambo.
Someone buzz.
Who else is easy to blame is the question.
I'm trying to remember the trial. I don't remember.
Fundy?
Did you say Fundy? It wasn't Fundy.
Fundy does kind of have a history of griefing, so I think it might be Fundy.
Nope.
Punk?
Nope. I'll give you as a hint.
Sapnap.
It's not based off of someone who has a history of doing these things. It's based off someone who was nearby at the time.
Wait, you mean like Jack or something?
Nikki and Puffy?
It was Nikki and Puffy.
Oh.
Because they were having a date.
Who are the worst possible people to try and blame this on. Because they've never done anything like that. Well, okay, that's not true. Puffy's been helping Dream, like, blow shit up and wander around
Puffy
the server and griefing.
But,
like, Nikki? Nikki? Of all people? Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, so it was Nikki and Puffy he tried to blame, which is just, it obviously didn't work. And then the final question is a fan question that we received, and is sort of a fun one that's very random, and I don't know if anyone will know it, but one of Technoblade's millionaire dogs is called Technochan. Is Technochan still alive or not? And if not, how did they die?
I feel like they're alive. I feel like this is the trick question with the whole "and how did they die" thing. That feels like it's trying to make you assume that the dog did die. So I'm gonna say no.
If they were to die, it would have to be during... Although they could have gotten stuck in the nether and died like that.
It would have been either...
It would have been either during Doomsday or Banquet. Red Banquet. But that's also kind of too obvious because he had a lot of dogs
also,
there.
I think people would have made like a fuss about it because Technochan's a really funny name for a dog.
Yeah.
It is a really funny name for a dog.
People would have like made a fuss about it and be like, oh no, Technochan is dead.
Yeah. It would be more well known. Plus, if it's how they died, it would be a memorable death. And unfortunately, despite many dogs dying during Doomsday and Red Banquet, there wasn't really like a single memorable dog that you can probably count. So it'd have to be something like them all. Yeah. So it'd have to be something stupid like getting stuck in the frame of the Nether portal and suffocating to death when he's traveling around.
Well, the good news is that, at least according to the fan who sent this in, Technochan is still alive as of a very specific VOD they pointed out for me, but I don't have it right now. But yeah, no, Technochan is alive. So you saw past the fans' attempt to bait you all into believing that they had died. Very good, very good. So that brings... Well, I have more questions, but I think we're out of time.
Alright, he won.
Well, okay. So, in third place, we have Sabu with a solid 4.
Oh,
Good job. Nice. Considering I gave you some half points for things. So, yeah, solid 4.
Nice.
Sai, you came in second with 8.5, which is a respectable amount for my however many questions. And then Sai, you came in with a solid 12.5.
Wait, what?
Thus, yes, no, you won. You have a 12.5 because, again, I gave half points for things because I am too indecisive about these things. Yeah, so, you won. I don't have a prize for you. I guess you get bragging rights.
Bragging rights for knowing useless. For guessing correctly.
Yeah, so you get bonus points.
Alright, so I suppose that's us for this week.
Yeah, this was fun. I like quizzing you all.
Hopefully we'll get some lore soon and we'll have some fun stuff to discuss.
Yes, soon, I hope.
We hear Dream's been recording lore, so Dream, please feed us.
There's always a chance it could happen. But that's it, I guess, for this week. Congrats, you're crowned winner. And we'll see everyone next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, thanks for listening to the 21st episode of Mellohi, and we hope you enjoyed it. If there's any topic you'd like to hear us discuss, feel free to leave a comment and find us on Twitter at Mellohi Podcast. We can also ask us questions or just get updates about new episodes. See you next time.